pushing on my bar. Spit shine when I rock. I do well, 212s in a pine bar. Hot apple pie, yo. American cooked and southern fried attire. And I'm parked next to the bonfire. Break from the 9 to 5 and stay alive with the jambalaya.
Mix it up, around the key five with the fifth in the car. A-stacks laid out back of the truck. Come on, everybody, get less. Loosen up your collar, take off your dress shoes. Forget about fine wine and throw your back some room. Yellow won't fix the business, who you're talking to. And we're gonna drive this truck to the mountain top and enjoy the view. So loosen up your collar, take off your dress shoes. Forget about fine wine and throw your back some room. Yellow won't fix the business, who you're talking to. And we're gonna drive this truck to the mountain top and enjoy the view.
From above the beanstalk, and they once said that he can't be taught. But now I teach and read thoughts and lock Alabama when the broken keys off. Floating through the trees like he walks to the house on the beach, I can smell the seesaw. Hey, you can just see me off. I'm breaking from the 9 to 5, staying alive with the jambalaya.
Mix it up, around the key five with the fifth in the car. A-stacks laid out back of the truck. Come on, everybody, get less. Loosen up your collar, take off your dress shoes. Forget about fine wine and throw your back some room. Yellow won't fix the business, who you're talking to. And we're gonna drive this truck to the mountain top and enjoy the view. So loosen up your collar, take off your dress shoes. Forget about fine wine and throw your back some room. Yellow won't fix the business, who you're talking to. And we're gonna drive this truck to the mountain top and enjoy the view.
Just like that, spare change in the Crown Royal bag. Roach clips on a 10 tray in the sack. 10-gallon bucket with a bush in the back. Small town scooping 9 whiskey brewing. Driving in cars that people screwing. Chevys in the yard like an ancient ruin. Trailers on blocks and that bitch ain't moving. So Peter Piper, what you picking? I got hot sauce dripping, dope boys limping, switch straight flipping, B-boys. Catfish Billy Bob, Rufus and Leroy with the jambalaya. Wanna jump and holler?
Loosen up your collar, take off your dress shoes. Forget about fine wine and throw your back some room. Yellow won't fix the business, who you're talking to. And we're gonna drive this truck to the mountain top and enjoy the view. So loosen up your collar, take off your dress shoes. Forget about fine wine and throw your back some room. Yellow won't fix the business, who you're talking to. And we're gonna drive this truck to the mountain top and enjoy the view.
I'm illegally parked, I know, part of my French and my Mercedes. But I have no excuse for this flea market shirt I'm wearing. My motley crew is beastie, and we enjoy the staring. I'm unemployed and daring. How dare I be so cool when it's so hot in Alabama? Sometimes we get snow too. And I'm as rare as a white Christmas in Miami, really. The temperature's dropping on South Beach, the ocean's getting chilly. But I'm driving, my people, the party, yeah. Some drinking, get wild jumped off the boat, and I'm sinking in my chair, cause my beer bottle does not float. Help me now. Please enjoy the show. I done came up so fast that I'm afraid of heights. I gotta go. Help me down. Or I'll just learn to balance somewhere between commercial dreams and music that is valid. My babies need to eat, so I create a simple sound. The fiasco threw me for a loop. Hey, I dumbed it down, slick. Ricky Bobby driving. I'm driving. My people, the party, the party, the party. Yeah, I'm drinking, get rowdy, party. When I went out with a buddy or two, and it was all. The riding in trucks and wheels oversized. In such a world I reside, and your luck runs low with your pride. And enough to keep you abide at the club and troubles around. I got them car keys in hand, I know what the fuck's going down. Some of these people come sick, some pop the trunk for AKs. They wanna do bodily harm, they wanna live for the day. We just came to get stupid, so give me that bottle of Crown. I'll take my girl to my Caprice and get the fuck out of town. Come on, girl. And I'm driving. My people, the party, the party, the party. Yeah, some drinking, get rowdy, party. And I went out with a buddy or two, and it was all. And we got to the bar by 1:45, and it was all. And we got going, and we got going, and we got going.
Hey, what's up? Good afternoon, everybody. It's your boy, Peete and Pete. Happy Friday to everybody. Who's ready for round 2 and 3 tonight? There's actually 2 rounds tonight of the NFL draft. I know I am. I will be with you at least for the second round. We'll see how I feel after the second round. Sorry for the abrupt exit last night. Had a situation going on. Had a couple people ask me if everything was okay. Yes, everything's okay. Everyone's alive. But it is what it is. So anyway, thank you all for joining me tonight. Hopefully, what the time is? It's about 10 after 7. Hopefully, this thing gets started within the next 10 to 15 minutes. They like to drag this thing out. Anyway, I'm not gonna lie. I had a hard time dealing on a football level, not on a real life level, with what happened last night. I do like the pick that Carolina made, but the more I think about it, the angrier I get about it. I think that passing on Isaiah Simmons at 7 was a huge mistake. I think Derrick Brown's a great player, and that's one of the positions of many of need for Carolina. But at the end of the day, I think Isaiah Simmons is better than Derrick Brown. I think he's going to do more for a franchise for a longer period of time. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that Derrick Brown ends up being a stud in the NFL and for Carolina. But I think it was a huge mistake. Let's look at some of the players tonight. There's a bunch of great players still left on the board, which is what makes the second round so compelling. As far as quarterbacks, it's getting thinner and thinner. Eason's still on the board from Washington. Jake Fromm, obviously, he's not going to go tonight. Jalen Hurts, be interesting to see if he goes in the second or maybe even the third round tonight. Running backs, a lot of running backs left. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. First of all, I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a good running back. All right, so don't take this the wrong way if you're an LSU fan or a fan of Kansas City. He's maybe the third best running back on the chart, though. So for him to be the first running back off the board kind of surprised me. But I will tell you this, Andy Reid is known to find good running backs in the draft. He's done that throughout his career, so I'm not going to second guess him. But I'd say DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, Jonathan Taylor, probably all better prospects. The only thing I could think Jonathan Taylor's got a lot of tread on the tires. I mean, he carried the ball 25, 30 times a game his entire career at Wisconsin. But he's still elite player. He's going to be good for at least 4 or 5 years. So, I can't justify taking him over Jonathan Taylor. J.K. Dobbins, obviously, in the same situation as Jonathan Taylor, baller. DeAndre Swift, another one. So, yeah, I don't get it. But anyway, all those guys are still left on the board. Cam Akers from Florida State's left on the board, too. Another great player from Florida State. I mean, Cam Akers was one of the best players in football, despite the fact that he was on one of the worst teams in football during those 3 years that he was there. That was the downfall of Florida State. And the worst offensive line in the Power 5 that he was running behind. I really like Cam Akers as a player and as a person. So I hope he gets picked tonight at some point. You look at the defensive line. You got A.J. Espinoza from Iowa, Neville Gallimore from Oklahoma. Some of these names, Yetur Gross Metos. I'm sure I'm butchering these names. From Penn State, defensive end. The only tight end that anyone's talking about is the kid out of Notre Dame, Cole Met. He'll probably go tonight for sure. There's a couple of other tight ends too, but he's the one that everyone's talking about. Of course, wide receivers, you have T. Higgins from Clemson. I was surprised he didn't go last night. Denzel Mims from Baylor. Now, here's an interesting thing that I'm thinking about with the kid from Baylor. So Carolina tonight picks 38. So they're the 6th pick tonight. And there's obviously a connection between the head coach, Matt Rule, being the first-year head coach at Carolina. He was the coach of Baylor for the past 2 seasons. I hope he doesn't go with the guy he likes and knows and pick up a receiver in the second round. We need offensive line. If the Carolina Panthers don't pick up offensive line tonight, I'm going to lose my mind. There's a bunch of great offensive linemen left on the board. You've got Ezra Cleveland still available. The guy I really want is Josh Jones out of Houston. Ezra Cleveland, Josh Jones, both offensive tackles. You also have an offensive guard, Lloyd, what's his name? Cushenberry or whatever it is, out of LSU. He's a great player too. You look at some of the defensive backs, Grant Delpit, obviously Xavier McKinney's still on the board. So there's a lot of great players on the board tonight. At least the second round is going to be extremely... am I missing this? Have they been picking? What, am I missing something? All right, no, I'm not. So Cincinnati's on the clock right now with the 33rd pick. I tried to time this perfectly, and I did. I didn't even give enough time for my shout-outs and my, hold on. While they're on the clock, I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge who's in the chat here. George is in the house. Clemson Carson, Tiger Nation. Moko, Tiger 843 says, let's go Pittsburgh. Crimson Brave 2020. NASCAR Vol. Jay Jobs is in the house. I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic, but I already know that you are. Jay Jobs did your homework. Look at that emoji. Tiger Nation is in the house. Clemson Carson, Asher Moore. Aaron Short. Country Tigers in the house. How you doing, sir? As far as predicting what Cincinnati's going to do with their second pick, they're showing T. Higgins there and his family on TV right now. Obviously, they have A.J. Green, but A.J. Green's been a massive injury problem. I mean, when A.J. Green's healthy, he's one of the top 5 wide receivers in the NFL. There's no doubt about it. Will they go receiver to help out their newly drafted quarterback? I don't know. Listen, Cincinnati's a team that has a lot of needs, just like Carolina. Jay Jobs, I've already said you. I've already forgot who I said and who I didn't say. P. Digits, how you doing, sir? Robert Lewis. T. Higgins will be a steal. Yes, he will be in the second round, no doubt about it. Did you see the tweet? And listen, probably you didn't see it if you're not on Twitter. You guys remember Ocho Cinco Chad Johnson, the flamboyant player that played for the Bengals for all those years? He tweeted out last night at the end of the draft. He said, "I can't believe T. Higgins hasn't been taken. He's an absolute game changer," and he's right. And that's an endorsement from a great player. You could think what you want to about Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, as a person, kind of obnoxious, I mean, still a likable guy, but a great player. And so I put stock into what he has to say about these receivers. Vodka drinkers in the house. Hey, Pete, looks like ETN was wise to stay for another year. Well, ETN would have been off the board already. I have no doubt about that. And he'll be off the board in the first round next year, too. All right, here we go. First pick is in. The 33rd pick is in with the Bengals. Oh, T. Higgins to the Bengals. So now, look what you got here. You've got Joe Burrow, the LSU quarterback from the national championship of last year, throwing the ball to his number 1 or number 2, depending on how A.J. Green looks, receiver from Clemson, and T. Higgins. The Bengals are just picking from Clemson and LSU now. I don't know whether to – first of all, I'm happy for T. Higgins. I'm happy for T. Higgins. But I don't know whether to be happy or sad for him because he's going to the Bengals. But this is funny because all of the Ohio people, Ohio State fans and LSU fans, because they're like one and the same. Listen, if you live in my YouTube world, I've been battling with LSU fans and Ohio State fans for the past 4 months, 5 months probably when you include Ohio State in there. And all they do is talk about how terrible T. Higgins is and overrated. Now they're all going to be slobbing his knob. Oh, we're so glad. We're so happy to get T. Higgins. So, yeah, karma is a bitch in the NFL, ain't it? So anyway, I'm happy to see T. Higgins be the first player taken in the second round. He deserves it. He probably should have went in the first round. To have Joe Burrow throwing him the football, and to have A.J. Green line up opposite of him. Listen, 2 great picks by the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm not going to lie. Is there any single Cincinnati Bengals fans in here? I'd like to know what they think about this. Oh crap! I just unmodded somebody. This is the same thing I did last night. Hold on, let me fix it. I see who it is. There it is. All right, I fixed it. Wow. Anyway, congratulations, T. Higgins. And congratulations to Cincinnati Bengals. The Colts picking 34. The pick is already in. The pick is already in for the Colts. I have no clue who they're going to take. Hold on. Let me scratch T. Higgins off the board on my paper here. T. Higgins off the board. Well, you know what? That's also surprising is that the Bengals went 2 offensive players, 2 skill positions. Obviously, quarterback's the most prominent skill position. But for them to go number 1 pick with a quarterback and a number 2 pick and the first pick in the second round with a wide receiver, you don't see that very often. That's a pretty rare thing to happen, actually. Anyway, so far, very interesting draft, and we're only 1 pick into it here. Yes, we all know T. Higgins is from Tennessee. Too bad. Crimson Brave 2020. I didn't miss your name. I said it. You weren't listening. Crimson Brave, did you get in touch with Walt Deptula last night? This guy. Anyway. All right, here we go. Pick is in with the Colts. Here we go with the pick. The 34th pick. Another wide receiver off the Michael Pittman. Wow. Michael Pittman out of USC off the board. So we start the second round with 2 wide receivers being taken, and this is a very deep wide receiver class, so I wouldn't be surprised to see probably 4 or 5 wide receivers taken here in the second round because there was only 3 taken in the first round. You had Ruggs went off the board first, Judy and Lamb Those were the three that were taken off the board in the first round. Now you have 4 and 5. You have Higgins and Pittman taken off here early in the second round. So, wow, a lot of offense going on so far. I expect us to start seeing offensive tackles and offensive guards going off the board. Xavier McKinney's still on the board. Grant Delpit's still on the board. I'm actually surprised Delpit didn't go in the first round. He definitely deserved to be in the first round. So that's a little bit surprising. And it looks like I'm going flat here. Can you guys still hear me? Hold on a second. Let me see if I can fix this. I'm not going to go offline. I'm just going to see if I can fix it. Hold on a second. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna move on here. Hoping you guys can see me. It doesn't look like you can. 35th pick is in for the Detroit Lions. All right, here we go. Here we go with the 35th pick from the Detroit Lions. DeAndre Swift, running back out of Georgia. That's not surprising, actually. They do need running back help. Swift is another one that I'm surprised wasn't taken in the first round. He's definitely a first-round talent. Yeah, he won't listen. Crimson Brave 2020. He won't respond to you. He'll probably block you. All right. So next on the clock. So the first 3 picks of tonight was Higgins from Clemson, then Michael Pittman from USC, 2 wide receivers, and then a running back. So all offense so far. DeAndre Swift from Georgia goes to the Lions. Obviously, Matt Stafford. Is also a Georgia alum, and he's on the Lions. So I think it's a good pick. I like all 3 picks so far in this first round. I think those are all good picks, but it's surprisingly to see all offensive players so far off of the board tonight. Detroit needs everyone. Yeah, that's true. I apologize for the way that the stream's going so far as the internet. I don't know what the problem is. I really don't. I didn't have any problems last night at all. I streamed for over 3 hours. So, and it was raining outside. I don't know. But I guess it is what it is. Most times I would be so angry I'd probably just shut the stream down and call it a night. But I'm gonna push on here for all you folks, at least for the time being, unless it continues to happen. It's maddening, though. I can tell you that much. Everything's fine. You guys know how I am right now, right? You know how I feel? This is how I feel. All right, here we go. The Giants with the 36th pick. The pick is in. Stafford was not expected to play this long coming out of Georgia. No, Stafford's a good quarterback. He just plays on a bad team. I feel sorry for Matt Stafford. He's the real deal. Listen, he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. He just doesn't have a good team or organization around him. The Lions have been crap for a long time, man. 20 years, 15, 20 years, whatever it is. The Panthers blue next to that beautiful orange just makes me throw up in my mouth a little bit, says Robert Lewis. And we had meatloaf, tastes like onion. What? What, you don't like this? You don't like this? Well, what else do you expect to see? I mean, Clemson is only like 45 minutes to an hour from Charlotte. And by the way, the Panthers played in Death Valley for the first 2 seasons of their existence. They're one and the same. 2 Carolina teams very close to each other. Unfortunately, the Panthers have some sort of weird thing going on where they won't draft Clemson players. That's been going on for a long time, which is weird. But Atlanta, the team I hate the most in the NFC, obviously very close to Charlotte, in the same division. Atlanta loves Clemson players, don't they? They got Grady Jarrett. They got A.J. Terrell now. They had Vic Beasley. They love Clemson players. Carolina, on the other hand, I don't know what it is. But there's something there. Look, Dave Gettleman's got a mask on inside his own house. What the? First of all, I have no problem with wearing masks if you're in public, social distancing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Why are you wearing a mask in your own house? This is Dave Gettleman's a dipshit. Now, I know somebody's going to tell me he's sick, which I think he is sick. I know he's got cancer, so I don't want to I know he's battling cancer, so I don't want to come down on too hard. I don't wish that on anybody. But why is he wearing a mask in his own house? Is that going to save you from something? If you're sitting in a giant room by yourself, is there a need for a mask? I don't think so. And I wish Dave Gettleman wasn't sick so I could harp on him some more. I feel bad, beating up on a sick guy. I don't want to see the guy die or anything. That would be terrible. Ooh. All right, the selection is in. New York Giants with a 36th pick. Roger Goodell is such a nerd, isn't he? Yes, listen to Dr. Peete. I'm offline. We back? I'm starting to get really irritated. You should social distance yourself from that horrible blue, says Robert Lewis. Which blue? This is a Bills jersey, by the way. A lot of people get triggered about that. Why are you wearing a Bills jersey? You're not a Bills fan. It's a Sammy Watkins jersey. I don't know which blue offends you more, this one or that one. You're allowed to say whatever you want. The New England Patriots with the 37th pick. The pick is in. Here we go. Defensive back, safety Kyle Duggar from Lenore-Rhine University. Now, this is in the weeds because this is something I never heard. And that's a true Bill Belichick pick right there. He went and picked somebody from a team nobody's ever heard of. Wow. I would mark him off on my board, but he wasn't on it. He must be really good for the Patriots to take him with their second pick. Highest player drafted in Lenore-Rhine history. There's more than one? I thought he'd been the only one taken in Lenore-Rhine history. Panthers are on the clock. Look. Internet, don't fail me now. Please go offensive tackle Ezra Cleveland, Josh Jones. I'll even take the guy from LSU, the guard / center. I'll take any of them. I do not want to see them go skill player here. I want an offensive lineman, an edge rusher, or even a defensive back. Team needs. Oh, look at the team needs. They need a linebacker. I wonder where they would have gotten one of those in the first round. I don't know. I can't figure it out. I'm not sure there was any linebackers on the board at pick 7 that they could have got. Oh, tight end, that's another one they need, but I don't want them to go tight end here in the first round. The pick is in. Hey, that's the guy. You guys know a player named I don't know, you might have heard him before. His name is Teddy Bridgewater. He's a quarterback. He played at Minnesota, broke his leg in 18 pieces. Took him 2 years to heal. Got picked up by the Saints. Saints nursed him back to health. Joe Brady, the offensive passing coordinator for the reigning national championship LSU Tigers, comes over as the offensive coordinator for the Panthers under the new head coach Matt Rule. First thing they do, cut Cam Newton, release Cam Newton, go out and sign Teddy Bridgewater. Then with the first 2 picks in the draft, they get defensive linemen. When Cam Newton's career has been basically destroyed in Carolina because there's been no offensive line there since the Reagan administration. You've got Ezra Cleveland, Josh Jones, and at least 2 other elite offensive linemen still on the board at the second pick. And they go after an average pass rusher. Did he just say everybody's happy now? Yeah, I know where he's from. He's from Penn State. I don't care if he's from the moon. That's not the position they needed to fill. I mean, I like I like building from the inside out, defensive line, offensive line, but they need offensive line bad. They passed on Simmons, and now they passed on an offensive tackle. Several offensive tackles. Jesus Christ. All right, let me go mark him off the board. Yator Gross Matos from Penn State off the board, Carolina. I hope this guy proves me wrong. Don't say that. Robert Lewis says Carolina's like the Carolina of college football. Robert Lewis, how'd you get a wrench? He must be the one that I accidentally gave a wrench to. I'm taking it away. No offense, but there's people that have been here a lot longer that don't have wrenches. Nothing personal. I'm sure you don't care anyway. Trust me, it'll be all right. I don't understand Belichick sometimes. Well, Belichick, he's an evil genius, so I don't doubt what he's doing. Jay Jobs says Dolphins will pick Josh Uche, edge rusher out of Michigan. We'll see. We'll see. P. Digit says, "In Bill I trust." Dolphins picked 2 offensive linemen last night. Pick another one to protect the man with the golden arm. Yeah. Right. There's a bunch of really good offensive linemen in this draft, and Carolina just whiffed on 2 of them. I wouldn't have been mad last night if they would have picked up an offensive lineman instead of Simmons. And I wanted Simmons, but instead they got a defensive lineman. They went defensive line again. Carolina's offensive line at this point has to be bottom 3 in the NFL. Has to be. You guys see Larry Tunsil from the Texans contract he just signed today? 3 years, 60-something million with $57 million guaranteed. That's how important offensive linemen are when you have a shit team. The only thing here's the only saving grace that I could take out of this, if there is one, as a Panther fan. I have been saying for at least the past 6 weeks, maybe 6-7 weeks, that Carolina's tanking on purpose for... Looks like the Dolphins' pick is in. Delpit's still on the board. The Carolina's been tanking for either Trevor Lawrence or what's his face from Ohio State, Justin Fields. So I'm hoping that's the case. I'm hoping they're trying to shore up the defensive line, knowing they're going to lose 13 games, 14 games, and they can go out and get Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields with the first pick next year. I'm hoping that's where this is leading, because that's what I've been saying has been happening. So here we go. The pick is in for the Dolphins. Dolphins went in the first round. Obviously went with Tua. Here we go. Robert Hunt, he said tackle, but the TV says guard. From the Sun Belt Conference. Actually, they have my list here. I didn't think he would go that high, though. So there you go. The Dolphins take... And let me tell you something. The fact that Cleveland's still on the board, Jones is still on the board, I think Josh Jones might be a mid-first round talent, the offensive tackle from Houston. I can't believe he's still on the board. Has McCaffrey been a disappointment? McCaffrey's maybe the best running back in the NFL. Why would that be disappointing? No, he hasn't been a disappointment. He's been fucking amazing. He's exceeded pretty much everybody's expectations, including mine. McCaffrey, I don't know if he's pissed. I'll tell you what, McCaffrey, he needs an offensive line and he needs a quarterback. Listen, I mean, he played the majority of last season with a couple of bad quarterbacks, after Cam Newton went out week 2. So he can produce even with terrible offensive line and terrible quarterback play. He's shown he can do that 2 seasons in a row now. So I'm not worried about McCaffrey. McCaffrey's probably not so pissed. I mean, the Panthers' defense is a shell of itself. Carolina's always been known as an elite defensive team. They've been a top 5, top 10 defensive NFL team for the past 15 years, 20 years. And they lost their identity. And they blew the defense up whenever Matt Rule got there. So they're definitely rebuilding. And I guess if you're going to rebuild, you're going to rebuild from the inside out. I get that thing, but you got to rebuild the offensive line too if you're going to, keep your injury-prone quarterback. When I say injury-prone, I'm talking about a guy who had a leg injury that was so bad that nobody even thought he might ever play again, and Teddy Bridgewater. And you got an elite running back like Christian McCaffrey. You got to have something. You got to have something on the offensive line. So it is what it is. All right, the Texans with their first pick in the draft on the clock, with the 40th pick that they got from, who did they get that from? From Arizona. This is the pick. This is the pick that they got from Arizona from the DeAndre Hopkins trade. Let's see how bad they screw this up. I'm sure they're going to screw it up royally. Because that's all Bill O'Brien knows how to do as a general manager. Whoever made him general manager should be slapped. Or worse. But I can't say what they probably should do to him on YouTube. I'll get kicked off. But at the very minimum, he should be slapped. Probably worse than that. Just use your imagination. What happened? What happened? Why is Indianapolis on, pick in? Did Houston pick yet? Why does it say that the Colts pick is in? Where's Houston's pick at? What's going on? Did they trade the pick? Did I miss something? What is going on? They traded? Houston doesn't get a first round pick and then they trade their pick with the Colts in their own division? What the hell is going on? And Bill O'Brien's a friggin' idiot. I missed that. I totally missed the Houston pick. I must have been ranting about something. All right. All right, so they took Ross Blacklock. Okay. Colts pick is in. And who did they took? Jonathan Taylor? Is that who they took? Wow. Colts, I think, are going to be good this year. $1,900 yards in 3 straight seasons. Now, he carried the ball like over 25 times a game, but still, that's still balling out. Jonathan Taylor's the real deal. 5'10", 226. He's a bowling ball. I didn't know he was only 5'10". I thought he was bigger than that. That's surprising in itself. But 5'10", 226, that's big. He's very fast for his size, too, for his weight. I think he ran a 4.4. Or maybe it was even, it was a sub 4.5. I know that. So he's big and fast. He's got some mileage on him, though. Yeah, that's a good pick for the Colts. Definitely. I'm actually surprised he was still there that late for them to get him. So the Colts, they get Jonathan Taylor in the draft. And what did Houston get as far as running backs in the offseason? They got an inflated contract from an injury-prone, washed-up running back from Arizona. That's what they got. Good job. Good job, Houston. You're being outclassed by your entire division. At this point, Jacksonville's the only team that's in as big of a dumpster fire as Houston is. They're making, and the Jaguars are on the clock. The pick is in. The Jaguars and Houston are fighting to see who the biggest dumpster fire in the AFC is. outside of Cincinnati. Yeah, Dobbins is still on the board. That's surprising. Yeah, Jaguars. What are they going to do? The Jaguars, another team. It's hard to pick what they're going to do. They obviously need a quarterback, but the pickings are slim here. You got Fromm, Eason, and Hurts are the three top guys left at quarterback. I don't really see any of those being worth a second-round pick, honestly. Maybe Eason is worthy of a second-round pick, but not this low in the second round, probably later in the second round. Fromm, not worthy of a second-round pick. Jalen Hurts, I guess, I don't know. He's hard to figure out. I wouldn't want to be drafting him as my future as a franchise quarterback. He'd be a good backup for a guy like Lamar Jackson. Or some, a lot of other teams too. I like Hurts, but I don't think he's gonna, he's not worthy of this pick. Let's see here. I'd say Jacksonville. Running back's interesting for Jacksonville because, well, maybe not. They could do a lot of things. They definitely need offensive line. They definitely need defense. So, Delpit's still on the board. Delpit might be a good one for him. Jags want defense, says Jay Jobs. Hurts is a third rounder, says Bama Boy. From fourth rounder, yeah, probably. Fourth or fifth. All right, see you later, Aaron Short. Thanks for stopping in, buddy. Cam Akers will be the best back in this draft. Dude would have won the Heisman at Bama. Yeah, well, I agree. I don't know about the Heisman, but he definitely would have been a lot more successful at pretty much any other school than Florida State. He just was there at a bad time, which is weird because he followed up Dalvin Cook, and Dalvin Cook was very successful, and then things just went downhill in a hurry after Cook left. Anyway. Yeah, Leonard Fournette, but Leonard Fournette's been pretty much unavailable. And quite frankly, Leonard Fournette's been a big disappointment for the Jags. He's been injured a lot. He's been in trouble, suspended a couple times. Of course, that was under Tom Coughlin as the GM. They don't have him there anymore because Tom Coughlin liked to suspend everybody for everything. But I don't know. They definitely need a lot more than, I'd say they need things more that are more important than running back right now. So I'd be surprised if they took him. Fournette is, I don't know. It might be too early to call him a bust, but he's definitely been disappointing. What was he, like the second or third overall pick in the draft a few years ago? He definitely hasn't lived up to that. So in that sense, he's a bust. Yeah. And I don't even really know. Most Jacksonville fans that I know or see on YouTube or, on Twitter or wherever, they're not really happy with him. So, if Jalen Hurts went number 42 in the draft, I'd be shocked. I'm not even sure you're going to see Jalen Hurts go in the second round at all. You might. There's a possibility he could. I'd say second round, maybe. Definitely third round. Eason, same thing. Second or third round. From third or fourth round, or maybe even fifth round. All right, Jacksonville's pick is in. All right, this guy is a baller, Laviska Shenault. I talked about him last night. Nobody knows who this guy is because of where he played at Colorado, and Colorado just hasn't been good. This guy on any other team, you put him on Clemson, on Ohio State, on LSU, on Alabama, wherever. This guy's an absolute stud. I thought he was a first-round talent. I thought he would go off the board last night. He's right up there with T. Higgins type talent. Just played on a bad team. This guy's a real baller. So for him to go, who picked him up? Jacksonville. That's a good pick. That's a good pick. Very good pick. I'm a fan of this kid. When you get off here tonight, if you haven't seen this kid, just go type his name in YouTube, watch his highlights. He's as good as it is. He's as good as it gets. Which makes me wonder why he didn't get more offers. Unless he just, I don't know what his story is. Why he went to Colorado and why he stayed at Colorado and didn't transfer. But he could have played anywhere in the country. Here you go. Watch some highlights of him there on here. He's got great hands, speed, great route runner. He's got it all. He's one of these. He's a ball hawk. He's almost like a slightly more athletic version of like a Hunter Renfrow. About the same size, a little bit more athletic, good hands. Slim Shady Canes, sir. Slim Shady Canes is in the house. How you doing, sir? Thank you for stopping in.
Hi, my name is. What? My name is. My name is. Slim Shady.
Hey, Slim Shady, who's Tampa Bay going to take tonight? Who are you looking at? Let's see where's Tampa Bay pick. They picked 45th. They're coming up. They're coming up, Slim Shady Canes. 2 more picks. The pick is in for the Chicago Bears. The pick is in for the Chicago Bears. The Bears, they need offensive line. They need tight end. They need a quarterback, too. Because they got 2 shitty ones. They got one guy who shouldn't even be there. His name's Mitchell Trubisky. I don't know why the hell they picked up this guy. They had Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, but they picked up Mitchell Trubisky. And then they went and traded for a guy who everyone thinks is a Super Bowl champion when all he did was win 3 games in a row. That's not a Super Bowl champion. That's a filler. Big Dick Nick Foles is what they call this guy. Overpaid this guy, too. The Bears need everything. They definitely need a running back. J.K. Dobbins is where he should go here. If I were the Bears, I'd want J.K. Dobbins right now. That's who I'd be wanting. If I was a Bears fan. Who's the other one? Grant Delpit. That's another one they could pick that they need. They need a safety. Yeah. I'd go Delpit or Dobbins, depending on which side of the ball you want to go on here. Anyway, the pick is in. A.J. Dillon from Boston College. Cam Akers from Florida State. A couple of ACC guys still on the board. A.J. Dillon's a freaking monster, too. Here we go. Chicago Bears pick is in. Here we go. Oh, that's who I wanted. So the first tight end off the board is the guy I said that would be the first tight end off the board, and really the only tight end that anyone's talking about, Cole Kmet from Notre Dame. So the first Notre Dame player gets drafted at pick number 43 to the Chicago Bears, which is only about an hour away from Chicago. South Bend is about an hour away from Chicago, and so he's not going far. He's not going far. There's a couple of other schools I could think of. I mean, they could have drafted elite players at a school that was close to where the NFL team is. I don't know. There's one that I could think of in particular. Clemson to Carolina and Charlotte. Same difference. Didn't happen, though. Anyway, yeah. Cole Kmet's off the board from Notre Dame to Chicago Bears. Yeah, he's a good player. Yeah, listen, I saw a lot of him. He's a real deal. He's the only tight end that was projected to be taken in the first 2 rounds. And there he goes at pick number 43 to the Bears. So congratulations to the Bears, and congratulations to him. Slim Shady Kane says he wants Dobbins in Tampa Bay. Yeah, I would too. I can't even believe he's still on the board. That's surprising. What's the issue with that? Maybe it's just because these teams don't value running backs as much as they used to. I mean, you look at somebody like Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey was taken 8th overall. 8th overall. And again, we just talked about Leonard Fournette when he got taken. What was that, 2nd or 3rd overall? But a lot of running backs taken very high in the first round. It's about a 50-50 shot whether or not they're going to work out. Obviously, McCaffrey is an elite player in the NFL and one of the best. But the chances of you picking a guy in the top 10, top 20 overall as a running back is going to, who's going to be a 5 or 10 year elite player is pretty slim. But J.K. Dobbins is good enough. I mean, you've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire went at the last pick of the first round. Then you went DeAndre Swift early in the second round. Then Jonathan Taylor just went a few picks ago. J.K. Dobbins still on the board is surprising to me. I'm not sure exactly what the hang-up is. I expect him to go sometime within the next few picks, though. So we've got who's on the board now? Indianapolis and then Tampa Bay picks. So Indianapolis has had 2 picks. Oh, this will be their second pick tonight. They had the 34th pick, and now they're going to have the 44th pick. So 10 picks apart. Notre Dame has elitism problems. Lee Smith Channel says his height. Are you talking about J.K. Dobbins' height? Because if that's the case, then Clyde Edwards-Helaire is only 5'10". So how come his height wasn't an issue for the Chiefs? If that's what you're saying, I don't know what you're saying. Who is Cleveland picking for their next victim? And you know what? Another good wide receiver on the board still left is Brian Edwards from South Carolina. He'll probably go in the 2nd or 3rd round, I would imagine. He's good, too. Too bad he played for such a shit team. Anyway, we all make choices in life. Brian Edwards chose to play for South Carolina, so I guess that's his problem. I don't feel sorry for him. But I do like him as a player. He's a good player. Clemson Carson says, we passed on Kmet for someone who's probably a 7th rounder. Clemson Carson, I thought all you Patriots fans were just, you all just believed in the process, right? A lot of similarities between Dabo Swinney and Bill Belichick. Everything except for the personality. Bill Belichick says nothing. Dabo Swinney says everything. But the process, that's what it's all about, baby. Don't you believe in your 6-time Super Bowl champion head coach, Bill Belichick? Come on now. Have a little bit more faith than that. I know he picked a guy that came from the Helen Keller School of the Blind college, but it's all about the process. No. Bama boy. Kelly Bryant I love Kelly Bryant. I think he's a great person. I think he's a great kid. I think he balled out. He played probably above his head when he played at Clemson, above his talent level. I don't have anything bad to say about him. I wish him the best. But anybody that thinks that Kelly Bryant's going to be any kind of legit starter in the NFL is out of their mind. No. And same with Jake Bentley. First of all, Jake Bentley's got another year in college. Honestly, I'd probably say as far as arm talent, Jake Bentley's probably got more arm talent than Kelly Bryant. Problem is, his arm's so good that he throws it to everybody on the field, not just his own team. I think that's up here, though. And the other thing about Jake Bentley is I think he was on such a bad offensive system, on a not very good team, for a few years there at South Carolina. He was set up to fail. He a lot of those interceptions that Jake Bentley threw was probably because he was trying to win on a bad team. So I don't know. Jake Bentley, he's got potential, I think, in the NFL if he can clean up his turnover thing. He's definitely got an arm. He's definitely a gamer. I mean, he's got the heart. He's got to fix it up here, though. So we'll see what he does. Jake Bentley has been in college for 8 years. Yes, at least. All right, the Browns pick is in with the pick number 44. The Cleveland Browns. Delpit. That's not surprising because I can't believe Delpit's still on the board. So good pickup for the Cleveland Browns. They needed it to safety, and they got a good one. The 2019 Jim Thorpe Award winner from the reigning national championship LSU Tigers. Good pick there. So tonight we've seen Delpit come off the board, McKinney come off the board, Pitzman, Chenault, T. Higgins, Cole Kmet, Matos, Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift. Still have Cam Akers and J.K. Dobbins left as far as the running back position goes. Still have, maybe I missed this one. Did Mims get drafted? I feel like he might have. Denzel Mims, the wide receiver from Baylor. That might have happened when I was on one of my sabbaticals for my stream getting shut off because of shitty internet. I don't know. No, he didn't yet. Okay. I didn't think so. That's another good one. What's up, SEC Dog? How you doing, sir? I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic, but I already know that you are. Hey, SEC Dog, what'd you think about Swift going to the Alliance to meet up with his former UGA buddy, Matt Stafford? That was interesting, wasn't it? All right, so here we go with the Buccaneers. The pick is in. I wanted either one of those guys. I wanted Espinenza or Cleveland. I can't believe Josh Jones is still on the board. Offensive tackle from Houston. That blows my mind that he's still on the board. I thought he'd been taken 20 picks ago. I thought he was a first rounder. Early second round at the worst. All right, so the key departures, Jameis Winston. Oh, where's Jameis Winston at? Look at Bruce Arians chilling on the back porch. He got the same microphone as me. He's sitting up there with a Yeti microphone just like Pigskin Pete. Bruce Arians, he don't give a shit, does he? Antoine Winfield, safety out of Minnesota. Are you happy with that, Slim Shady Canes? What's up, Tiger Raven? What's up, Slim Shady? Happy with that? Look at it. It's funny watching people celebrate in their houses instead of being at their draft. You see everyone's living rooms. Slim Shady Canes, what do you do? Are you jumping through a window right now? Where are you at? Are you happy with that or not? Oh, he's all right. There he is. He says, I think a running back was more of a need. I don't know, man. I think it's a good pick, man. I like that pick. I'd like it if I were you. 1 second. All right, thank you. I like how this is going way faster than last night. They were dragging it along for the first round. These picks are coming in like wildfire right now. I like it. So the Broncos with the 46th pick, their pick is in. KJ Hamler, wide receiver from Penn State, off the board. A little bit surprised that he went ahead of Denzel Mims from Baylor. But anyway, there's another wide receiver. So that, what is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 wide receivers taken off the board here in the second round tonight already. Everybody knows this is a very deep wide receiver class. Very deep wide receiver class. Very deep offensive line class. I wonder what the hang up with Mims is. I thought he would have been off the board already by now. Tiger Raven 2018 with a $2 super chat. Thank you, sir. Says T. Higgins is in my division rival now. Go Ravens. Yes, he is. Interesting to see an LSU quarterback and a Clemson receiver be drafted back-to-back on the same team. I need to become a Bengals fan now, I think. I got A.J. Green's from my hometown. Grew up about 5 minutes from here, where I live now. He's on the Bengals. Carlos Dunlap, defensive end for the Bengals, went to my high school. Now we've got T. Higgins from Clemson. We got Joe Burrow. So maybe I'm rooting for the wrong team. Maybe I need to switch teams, right? That's never going to happen. But I do think that the Bengals have the coolest helmets in all of football. But I can't root for the Bengals. I'm not rooting for any team from Ohio. Sorry, not going to happen. No such thing as a wide receiver at Penn State. Brings up shower room memories. What's up, Buckeye Banshee? How you doing, man? Are you a Bengals fan? I'm assuming you are. Either that or a Browns fan. What's up, Don Sarian? Got to be faster tonight with the double picks. I work at my own speed, not yours. But thank you. Slim Shady Candy says, I'm not upset about the pick, Pete. Just thought a running back was more of a need. Yeah. I hear you. If you lose to the Browns this year, you get kicked out of the NFL. I don't know, man. Listen, the Browns is terrible, but there's gonna be at least 7 or 8 teams that lose to the Browns, and they're not gonna lose more than 7 or 8 games. So, Buckeye Bench said he's a Saints fan. Hey, listen, sir. How you jumped from ship from the Bengals 2 years ago? You just abandoned your team and your home state. Aren't you supposed to be rah-rah for Ohio? You went down south? Oh, listen, I get it. Joe Burrow went down south, but Joe Burrow didn't play for the Saints. He played for the Tigers. Different story, man. Come on now. Most Buckeyes in the NFL and the Saints. Okay, all right. Well, I understand that, I guess. Like, I kind of root for the, or at least I did, for the Texans because they had a bunch of Clemson players. I'm not a Texans fan, though. Like, I root for Deshaun Watson to do good. I root for the players to do good. But I'm not a Texans fan. I'm just, plus they're not even in the same conference as Carolina, so it doesn't affect that. The Browns should have drafted Sam Darnold. Well, the Browns have had a long, long history of drafting the wrong people. So that list of who they should have drafted but they didn't is about a mile long. Everybody knows that. I got you. So I got you. You're a college fan. I got you. Falcons are on the clock. Falcons pick is in. Josh Jones is still on the board. AJ Espinenza is still on the board. Jalen Johnson's still on the board. Yeah, Falcons need a lot of things too. We'll see. I would be surprised if they didn't go offensive line here. But again, J.K. Dobbins still on the board. If I'm the Falcons, it's how do you pass on J.K. Dobbins at this point? I can't believe we're going into the 47th pick in the NFL draft and J.K. Dobbins is still on the board. That's mind-blowing. I wonder what the hang-up is with him. You know, I would say it's the amount of times he carried the football at Ohio State because he carried it a lot, but Jonathan Taylor carried it more than Dobbins did, and he's already off the board. So, Falcons need a new Trevor Lawrence. Well, what about the old Trevor Lawrence? I know you're not comparing Matt Ryan to Trevor Lawrence. Please tell me that's not what you're doing. Matt Ryan sucks. Matt Ryan's got dad bod. Let that sink in. Marlon Davidson, defensive end from Auburn. So Marlon Davidson off the board. That's the second Auburn defensive lineman to be drafted. Guess who the first one was? And guess where he went? That's right. Derek Brown went to the Panthers in the first round. Anyway. Do I have any Falcons fans in here? Robert, are you a Falcons fan? Would ETN have gone higher? Yeah, ETN would have went in the first round. I have no doubt about it. You are a Falcons fan. Okay. Well, are you happy with the A.J. Terrell pick in the first round? That was shocking to me. I didn't think A.J. Terrell would go in the top 16 like he did. So I'm always curious to see how Falcons fans felt about that. Something about the Falcons coaches or front office loves Clemson players. They got a bunch of them on there. Okay, good. So I hope AJ Terrell succeeds because I like him, but obviously I'm not a Falcons fan at all. So in that regard, I hope the Falcons don't succeed. I can't stand the Falcons. Yeah, I think he fits this game good too. I do. SEC dog, are you kidding? Sir, are you trolling? If you're trying to get me to get mad on YouTube or something, that might be the dumbest thing you've ever typed in here, and you've typed some pretty dumb shit in here before. Too small and not good versus top 40 defenses, sir. Well, the number one defense in the country last year was Ohio State, and he had 138 all-purpose yards and 3 touchdowns in the playoffs. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what else you want. The guy's the all-time leading touchdown leader in the ACC history. I mean, what are you talking about? He's got to be trolling. Darrell Taylor, defensive end from Tennessee, off the board, goes to Seattle. So we're starting to see a lot of edge rushers coming off the board now. Buckeye Banshee, he had 138 yards, sir, and 3 touchdowns. If it weren't for Travis Etienne, Ohio State would have been in the national championship game last year. Travis Etienne completely torched Ohio State and embarrassed them, sir. 31 rushing yards. He had 138 yards total. I don't care if he had 2 rushing yards. 138 yards and 3 touchdowns. Every single Ohio State defender goes to sleep at night and has nightmares about Travis Etienne, sir. Ryan Day, when he sees pictures of Travis Etienne, he loses his mind. He loses his mind. He single-handedly destroyed that defense and embarrassed them. Travis Etienne is Ohio State's daddy. We all know that. Come on now. Of course they hate him because he gashed them. He gashed them and embarrassed them. All right, so next, the pick is in for the Steelers with the 49th pick. This is... A lot of people think that the Steelers might draft a quarterback here. Eason or Hurts is a possibility. Yes, Clemson's Ohio State's daddy. Everybody knows that. I've got a paternity test to prove it. Just go into YouTube, type in Pigskin Pete. What was the name of that video? Just type in Pigskin Pete paternity test. I think that'll probably do it. Type in Pigskin Pete paternity test. I sent off the DNA to the lab, paid good money for it, and the results were unequivocal. Clemson is Ohio State's daddy. I mean, it came back from the lab and everything. Just go watch the video. You'll see what I'm talking about. Everybody knows. Exactly. That SEC dog, that's funny, isn't it? Ohio State fans are bragging about how much the quarterback ran all over their ass. Yeah, Clemson's quarterback was running for touchdowns, running past the entire defense. Meanwhile, Justin Fields was limping around and throwing interceptions to Isaiah Simmons and a backup safety to end the game. Oh, man. Oh, I hope we play them again next year, too. It's going to be great. If there is a football season. Sorry, my computer's about to die. Buckeye Banshee, he can't get over it. He doesn't realize that there's more to a running back's game than just running the ball. As a matter of fact, it's more embarrassing that he only ran for 31 yards, but he had over 100 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. That's even more embarrassing. All right. All right, here we go. The pick is in for the Steelers. Hey, listen to Cooper here. Listen, go ahead and tell him how it is. This is exactly how Ohio State's defense sounded in the third quarter. Go ahead. He thinks that Mike Allstott was just a fullback. Chase Claypool, wide receiver out of Notre Dame. Another wide receiver off the board. That makes, what, 7? That makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6. That's 6 receivers off the board in the second round. Again, Denzel Mims still on the board from Baylor. I can't believe that. Yeah. I would have thought that the Ohio State crying would have ended by now. You know, the game's been over 4 months ago, but they won't ever let it go. They won't ever let it go. You know, when I'm feeling depressed, I just turn that game on and laugh. I just turn that game on and laugh, watching Trevor Lawrence and ETN run all over them like they're a bunch of little kids, like they're playing against a pee-wee football team. And then to top it off, I'll make some ice cream, put some hot fudge on top, and then I'll watch the post-game press conference with Ryan Day and watch him cry for a few hours. I mean, talk about the cure. People take Prozac and all these antidepressants to get over depression. Just turn that on. Just turn on the Ohio State-Clemson game, then watch the after-game press conference with Ryan Day. It cures all depression. You'll be right as rain by tomorrow. Trust me. It works great, too. Lee Smith Channel, you don't cry. I got respect for Lee Smith Channel, Ohio State fan. He never cries about it. He doesn't come on here and cry ever. But a lot of them do. It's all good though. Jalen Johnson, cornerback out of Utah, goes to the Bears. That's a good pick. So Jalen Johnson is off the board. That is the 4th defensive back off the board here in the second round. Chicago Bears. That is their second pick this That is their second pick this round. Next on the list is Dallas with the 51 pick. The pick is in. What will Dallas do? Almost everybody's... Ezra Cleveland's still on the board. Offensive tackle. Josh Jones still on the board. Offensive tackle. I can't believe they're still on the board. The guard from LSU still on the board. Espinenza still on the board. Defensive lineman from Iowa. Defensive lineman Nabel Gallimore from OU still on the board. J.K. Dobbins still on the board, which is a crazy. There you go. See, I just said that. Denzel Mims still on the board. Josh Jones still on the board. A bunch of really good players that haven't been taken that should have probably been taken by now. Pretty surprising. Oh. Damn, Dak Prescott's brother died? I didn't know that. That's sad. Man, that's terrible, but you know what? The NFL has a way of making people depressed, don't they? Buckeye Banshee, your daddy's new money. You're right. Your daddy's new money. Clemson's been beating the Buckeyes for 40 years, sir. 42 years, to be exact. That's not new money. That's a domination. Your daddy's 42 years old. Time to change your diaper. Give you a pacifier, put you to bed. So what will Dallas do? You still got J.K. Dobbins on the board, which we talked about this last night. I'm a guy who goes to the best available player. Now, Dallas's needs are not necessarily on the offensive line. They got one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Their needs definitely. Well, they addressed one of their needs at wide receiver with C.D. Lamb in the first round, and of course they've got Cooper still, so they're locked up there. I guess you have to go defensive back here or linebacker. Ballard Sports Media, who do I want the Panthers to draft tonight? Well, I wanted them to draft an offensive lineman, and they didn't. They drafted a defensive end. So, we'll see. I mean, that's their only pick tonight. So, they've already drafted. They've disappointed me twice in a row. I mean, I wasn't overly disappointed, I guess is the way I'm going to put it, last night. But the more I thought about it this morning when I woke up, I can't believe they passed on Simmons at 7. I just can't. I mean, there's really no excuse for that. They could have picked up a defensive tackle in the second round. Passing on Simmons, I think, was a huge mistake for Carolina. I still can't believe it happened. I can't even believe that Simmons fell to Carolina, and then on top of that, they passed on him. But look, after they picked up Derek Brown last night, I wanted them to draft an offensive tackle today, and they didn't do that again. They went with an edge rusher. Slim Shady Canes with a $5 super chat. Buckeye Banshee forgets they won a natty on a BS call and wants to cry when it goes the other way. That's the Ohio State way. Oh, by the way, speaking of Ohio State, I've mentioned this before. A good friend of mine just moved back down here in town from Columbus. He's an Ohio State alum. I talked to him tonight before I came on the stream. I'm trying to get him on the show sometime within the next couple of months. I'm going to get him over here during a live stream. A real live Buckeye graduate, grew up in Columbus, lived there his whole life. Trying to get him on the stream. That ought to be interesting. So all you Ohio State fans out there, I'm going to bring the enemy right here into the man cave. You know what? It's funny. When I bought this house, my wife and I built this house 3 years ago. The guy who helped me set up this Clemson football room was, well, I'm not going to say his name. His name's Sean. Sean from Ohio State. He helped me put this up. So, I do have some Buckeye friends in real life. Oh, I'd love to listen. Next time I do a call-in show next week, Buckeye Banshee's welcome to call in. Yeah, Greg Cranston. Yeah, Simmons was definitely a top 5 pick. Trayvon Diggs from Alabama, cornerback, goes to the Cowboys. Good pick. Man, the Cowboys are doing good in this draft. I'm not going to lie. They're doing really good. Diggs is off the board. Where's he at? There he is. Diggs off the board to Dallas. Good pick by Dallas. Nobody's more critical of Jerry Jones, the worst general manager in college football, the worst general manager in the NFL, than me. They've done good, though. CeeDee Lamb was a good pickup. This is a good pickup. Next, we have the Rams on the board. The Rams, the pick is in. So the Rams traded away, who did they trade away? Their top wide receiver, Brandon Cooks, right, to Houston. Will they try to shore that up? They need offensive line help. They need a running back, right? Gurley's gone. The Rams have a lot of needs. So J.K. Dobbins could be a real possibility here. Let's see who else could be a real possibility here. Ezra Cleveland, Josh Jones, 2 offensive tackles. If I had to guess, it would be either an offensive lineman or a running back here going to L.A. So we'll see. They lost a lot. Gurley, Cooks, Fowler, Littleton, Coleman, Matthews. Yeah. Cam Akers goes off before Dobbins. Hey, Buckeye Banshee. What happened with Dobbins? Why is J.K. Dobbins still on the board? I thought he was the best running back in the history of the world. Cam Akers, DeAndre Swift, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, all off the board before Dobbins, which actually kind of surprises me. I'm not going to lie. But what's up with Dobbins? Did this guy get caught smoking crack last week or something? What's going on with him? Why is he still on the board? Dobbins ran a 12.8740. Damn. Oh, God. I'm actually surprised that Dobbins not. Listen, Cam Akers is the real deal, though. Eagles next on the board. Man. I don't know what's more pitiful, J.K. Dobbins not being taken yet, or the Buckeye fans keep claiming that the number 1 pick in the draft, Joe Burrow, is a Buckeye. He ain't no Buckeye. That's an LSU Tiger there, son. He started, 30 games? Almost 30 games he started for LSU. How many games did he start for the Buckeyes? That's right, 0. You hear my dog even? He's laughing about it. Man, I love messing with Ohio State people. Watching the disappointment during college football season and watching the disappointment on draft nights, the 2 things together, just you can't beat it. All right, Eagles pick is in. The 53rd pick. Jalen Hurts. What the hell? I did not see that coming. I can't even believe that happened. In the 2nd round, Jalen Hurts to the Eagles? What the hell? Wow. That's the story of the night right there. That and J.K. Dobbins not getting drafted yet. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. No, I don't know. I don't know why. Trade bait for who? Like, what's he going to be worth in a trade? Listen, I like Jalen Hurts. I do. I'm not saying I don't like him, but second round to the Eagles? I mean, the team matter too when it comes to the what their philosophy is. And Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts are nothing alike. So is this an indictment on Wentz, or is this a strategical thing where they're going to make just some certain packages for Hurts and put him in there? I don't know, man. I would have thought that Hurts would have went to Baltimore to be the backup and maybe, in case, when you got these running quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts, there's a good chance that one of them's going to get hurt at some point. So you could plug Jalen Hurts into the offensive system at Baltimore immediately and not have much of a drop off. But Philly, I don't see the correlation there. That's interesting. J Jobs, people said the same thing about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was the MVP of the NFL last year in the regular season. So there's definitely a market and a scheme that can be formed for guys like them. I think Jalen Hurts is a good player. I really do. I don't think he'll be a bust, but maybe in Philly he'll be a bust. Like, he's got to go to the right place. He's one of these players that needs to go to the right place. Wow. That's shocking. I can't believe they picked Jalen Hurts in the second round. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. SEC dog, I think Fromm will get drafted. It'll be late. It'll be in the fourth, between the fourth and the sixth round. Yeah, somebody will pick up Fromm. He'll get drafted. He does have a noodle arm and no legs, though. You're right. Listen, Joe Burrow, he doesn't have a rocket arm either. He even says it. He even says he doesn't have a rocket arm. So you don't need a rocket arm necessarily, but I'm not comparing Joe Burrow to Fromm. There's not much of a comparison. First of all, Joe Burrow's extremely accurate, extremely smart, and he's mobile. Fromm's really none of those things. I mean, I don't know. He'll get drafted. He'll be, you know who reminds me of as far as a career in the NFL? Jake Fromm will probably end up being like Charlie Whitehurst was from Clemson. Remember Charlie Whitehurst? We call him Football Jesus. Everyone thinks about Trevor Lawrence with the long hair, Football Jesus, what they call him. No, Charlie Whitehurst was the Clemson Football Jesus long before, when Trevor Lawrence was still, wearing tighty whities, some underoos. You got to be at least 40 years old to know what underoos are. But yeah, Charlie Whitehurst, career backup. I think he's a career 10 to 12 year backup in the NFL, made a bunch of money backing up. That's Jake Fromm. Clipboard Jesus. Yeah, you're right. He was Clipboard Jesus. But before he was Clipboard Jesus, he was Football Jesus at Clemson. Then he turned into Clipboard Jesus in the NFL. Mainly with the Seahawks. He spent a lot of time with the Seahawks. Yeah, I know. I'm with you. All right, the Bills picker is in. Finally, AJ Espinosa out of Iowa, the defensive lineman's taken off the board. Espinosa's off the board to the Bills. That is the first pick by the Bills this year. With the 54th pick in the draft, they take A.J. Epinesa from Iowa, who's a really good player. I'm surprised he's still on the board, quite honestly. 2019 Hendricks Award finalist. Yeah, he's a good player. Is Iowa still a state? They still got football. Damn, learn something new every day. I don't know, man. I think that, honestly, Iowa and Iowa State have been playing above their talent level for several years now. I mean, they're solid programs. They get 2- and 3-star players, and they play above their potential, quite honestly. They're one of these, both those programs are two teams that could beat anybody on any given day, if they catch somebody slipping. So I wouldn't put them down too much. And they produce good offensive linemen and defensive linemen. They're good in the trenches. Yeah, Iowa teams are decent. They are. Yes, it's a Bills jersey I have on. It's a Sammy Watkins jersey. Sammy Watkins is one of my favorite players of all time. So, Pete is shouting out Chad Kelly's uncle in memory of a spring game blow-up. That spring game blow-up got him kicked off of the team. Chad Kelly's a freaking idiot. Most of the time, these kids, they'll have problems in college like Chad Kelly did. He got kicked off of Clemson. Obviously, he went to Ole Miss. Went to Ole Miss with Hugh Freeze. And then he got drafted in the NFL by the Broncos and still was doing the same dumb shit in the NFL he was doing in college. Where is he now? He's probably working at the 7-Eleven somewhere. Or either that or he's a male stripper at a gay strip club. I don't know. Yeah. It's hard not to like Sammy. All right, here we go. The Ravens pick is in. Yeah, Eason and Fromm still on the board at quarterback. I got so many X's throughout my paper here. There's still 7-Eleven here. 7-Elevens aren't closed. I got one a couple miles from my house. I'm still surprised that Ezra Cleveland from Boise State's on the board, offensive tackle, and Josh Jones. I thought Josh Jones was a first-round talent from Houston. I wanted Carolina to pick him up in the 38th pick overall tonight. Didn't. I can't believe he's still on the board. Sir. Blake. No, Kelly Bryant didn't get drafted. This is the second round. You might see him get drafted in the 7th round tomorrow night sometime. Definitely not drafted yet. Kelly Bryant's not going to be a starter in the NFL. Sorry, he's not. He might not get drafted. That's true. What's going on with my stream?